Hello, everyone. It's Jeannie. How are you? I hope you're all well. Today's video is a Friday flip. And what we are going to be flipping from is this food and wine magazine that I just got. And today is August something, 26th when I'm filming this. This came in the mail last week, and it is labeled September of 2025. So I think this is my first fall magazine. And I particularly liked it because of the picture. Look at that. Doesn't that soup look amazing? So we're going to flip through this. It'll just be a blah, blah, blah that you can put on in the background, tune out to, fall asleep to, be bored to death from, or you can watch. Now, if you're watching, I want you to pick out something that you want me to make, and we're all gonna join in on that. So pick out whatever recipe you want, and that's what I'll make for you. And so we'll go through this and tell me which thing jumps out at you. I've got my tea. It is the classic Earl Grey that Kim, Angel on My Shoulder, sent me. Oh, this is our Pebble Beach cup. So you can see I'm in the kitchen, my retro kitchen. And you know what else I have that I'm really jazzed about? Let me show you this. You know we have that Cove Pure water purifier reverse osmosis filtration system, right? That was in an older video 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. I don't want to use plastic bottles. I would like to really get rid of plastic in our lives as much as possible, reasonably, for our food. I understand there is a need for plastic. But anyway, I don't want to be drinking out of plastic bottles, so I bought these. Look at that. And I bought a dozen of them. And I filled them up, put them in the fridge, so they're easy to grab and go. Just as easy as a plastic bottle. Can you hear the stereo sound? It's glass. And when you take a cold, refrigerated glass of liquid out of the fridge and go out into the warm Texas humid air, you get a lot of condensation. And so I got these. They're like koozies, just sleeves. And I got 10 or 12 of these in different colors. So I have all the bright, colorful pink and yellow ones, and my husband has the blue, gray, boring colors. No. And so we have one next to our bed on our nightstands, and don't have to worry about it sweating. Look at that. And it's got a little loop here. Oh, really? Yard people, start now. I was just going to say, no yard people, no thunderstorms, no, that can't happen to me. So anyway, look at this. I'll put a link in the description for both of these. They're not expensive. So I have my water here too. I am not going to stop this video unless that yard person comes closer. It sounds like they're 3 or 4 houses down, but these mics are magic and they pick up everything. So, oh well. I am not in a soundproof room. I tried, but I can't get to perfection. It's just a bedroom that I took over and turned into my studio. I've got sound panels throughout the room, but it absorbs a little bit, but it doesn't keep out all the noise. Oh well. Okay. I think I've got everything set up. Recording correctly. I think I have the lighting right. It's making me look good. I think I've got my sound going correctly. I think I've got it. We'll see. Okay, let's ease into fall with simple dishes and cozy sips for the season. Okay. I love soups and stews. I just love them. I love making them. I love the smell in the house. I like freezing them and then taking them out. I freeze them in like 2-cup portions. If you are on headphones or stereo type, can you hear in each ear? I forget to check. I'm so not techie. Okay, now let's go ahead. Turn on that amazing invention my husband did overhead for me and start flipping through Food and Wine magazine from September of 2025. So this looks delicious. It is, what is this? Creamy Tuscan chickpea soup. And that's going to be on page 40. That is a meal for me. That and a piece of buttered French bread. Okay. All right. Please enjoy champagne responsibly. Okay. It takes time to become an icon when you are different. Please enjoy champagne responsibly. All right, give me a glass and I will. I like champagne. I really do. I like a glass of champagne. And 1.5. That's all I need. Okay, a beautiful Lexus. That is gorgeous. Handsome young fellow. Okay, a National Geographic expedition would be so fun. We have not done a cruise in so long, and I'm tempted to. I don't want to do one of those great big norovirus, with 5,000 people on those big ships, and everybody gets sick and vomits and has all kinds of intestinal issues. That's not for me. I don't care. You can't give me one of those. Now, maybe a river cruise or one of these smaller voyages, I can do those. But I've been on those big ships and it's like, no. I'd rather stay home and look at a picture book. Okay. Signature kitchen suite. Oh, yes. Oh, this looks so good. Creamy udon with umami butter is silky and savory. Oh, that is my love language right there. Santa Margherita, Pinot Grigio. Okay. Why they put a Stouffer's frozen food, mac and cheese. Now, I'm being real judgy here. I haven't had one of these in 100 years. We used to have them as part of our, when my mom and dad used to go out on a Friday or a Saturday night, we had a babysitter and we would get frozen TV dinners on a tray in front of the TV, which was so special for us. And this is one of the things that my mom and dad, might put together, one of these frozen Stouffer's mac and cheese. Now, if you've tried this in the last 6 decades, has it gotten better? I'm trying to think the last time I had it. So I'm looking down my nose at this and judging it. And I apologize, Stouffer's, if this is good and I just don't realize it. Send me some and let me evaluate it. There you go. Okay. Oh, here we go. Oceania Cruises. The finest cuisine at sea. That looks like a big ship, though. I gotta watch my head, don't I? That I don't come into this. No, I'm doing okay. Award-winning itineraries. It says small ship luxury. That looks like a big ship. You guys want to go on an Oceania cruise with Giada De Laurentiis? That would be fun. Oh my gosh. Who's going to sign up for that? I'll go. Okay. I'm game. All right, let's see. Let's go. Charleston. Food and Wine Classic in Charleston, November 14th and 16th. Anyone want to go? Shall we join this group there? It's all these big cooks, well-known chefs. Wow. Tyler Florence, the Emerald and EJ, his son EJ. Oh, this is great. Okay. Oh, interesting. Robert Mondavi Winery is reopening for spring of 2026. They've been renovating. I can't remember if they were hurt by any of the fires or not. I don't remember, but I don't think so. Okay. All right. Here we go. This is an interesting article about pairing dessert wines and how you do that. Now, many of you know I was a winemaker, and I didn't specialize in dessert wines, but I did make some. I made a delicious Portuguese port with a Tinta Roriz, which is it's a Portuguese grape. And when you use the right grape for a particular style, oh, chef's kiss, for real. It was so good. It is so good. We still have some. And I've done some other port style wines out of a Barbera. And what else? And it was good, but it's like using the best ingredients for that particular style. And a Portuguese grape is best for a port style wine. Now, what is port style? In a regular wine making, I'll summarize this. You get grapes. Yep. They go through a crusher and destemming process, right? So you get all the mushed up grapes with most of the stems, and they're kind of crushed. And the stems are removed. And they go into a big bin. And you do some stuff, sprinkle SO2 and all this. And then what's going to happen is you're going to get this all stirring up, and because they're crushed, all the juices are flowing out, right? And it's going to start to ferment. You add some yeast, the right kind of yeast for the right kind of grape, because different yeasts have different tolerances. Some grapes are going to be a very high alcohol, some are very low, some are very delicate, and some are bold and strong. And so you pair your yeast, and it's a Saccharomyces cerevisiae type of yeast, which is a commercial yeast. I didn't really do wild yeasts or natural yeasts. I always used a commercial yeast, the Saccharomyces. I know. Anyway, so that starts to ferment. You add the yeast, you kind of monitor some things, you do punch downs, get it all mixed up, you take measurements a couple times a day, and watch as the yeast start eating all the grape sugars. Now, as the yeast eat the sugars, they do two things. They belch out CO2. They do more things, but these are the two main things they do. They belch out CO2, okay? And that lifts the cap of all the grape stuff, the skins and whatnot. We call that the cap. And so the CO2 it's released into the winery, which is why it needs to be ventilated. You could die, oxygen starvation. And it also converts those sugars into ETOH, alcohol. So when you have a lot of sugar, you're going to have a lot of high alcohol, right? So that's why when you look at a bottle of wine, here's my bottle of wine, and it says, say, 14% ABV, alcohol by volume, yeast convert approximately anywhere between 55 and 62% of those sugars into alcohol. So when you pick a grape and test it, it's going to be, say, 25, 26, 27, 28 bricks, which is the measurement of sugar in a volume. And so about, let's just say, half of that is going to be converted into alcohol. So if it's 14% alcohol, you can kind of roughly guess that it was a 28 bricks, maybe 26 bricks, sugars, grapes. Okay, I hope that's kind of simple. Anyway, then after you get your big fermenting, vat, you monitor all the yeast and the alcohol production from the yeast. Make sure that you have enough yeast to finish the job down to 0 if you're making wine, give or take 0. Or in the case of port, and depending on the style of the winemaker and the wine they're trying to make, they will retard any further fermentation. They stop it because we want some residual sugar, and we stop it by killing the yeast, and we kill the yeast with some spirits, alcohol, like brandy, any kind of hard alcohol without a lot of flavor. You're not going to put whiskey in there or something like that. I typically used brandy. What else? I've used some other things too. Now remember, the brandy, for instance, is about 40% ABV, right? So that high alcohol is going to mix with the vat of grapes. It's going to kill the yeast because they can't handle high alcohol, and you've stopped your fermentation. And then you're going to kind of press out all the grape skins and seeds and things like that. And it's a little more complicated than this, but basically you now do, you've done the math. How much brandy do you add to create a port type dessert wine anywhere between 18 and 22% alcohol by volume? Because remember, you're adding 40%, say, alcohol by volume to something that might be, at this point, 8 or 10 or 6%, depending on what you've done. And you kind of blend them, and you don't just add the two together. It's a whole mathematical thing. Thankfully, we have apps that we can quickly, do our little cheat sheets. But, in school, we had to do it all by hand in a calculator. So anyway, long story short, it gets pressed, and then you put it into barrel, and then you let it age. Now, the aging of a port wine, in the beginning, it's really harsh. It's got sharp elbows, in a sense. Aging helps soften it. And say in a year, and you check it regularly, and you keep things topped off if it's in wood, because you have it's called the angel share, and that's kind of like an oxygenation loss of alcohol, of fluid. We call it the angel's share. Boy, this is a blah, blah, blah I didn't plan on doing. Anyway, you test it, a little taste every 6 months or so. You do a couple more, filtrations just to kind of keep the sediment, because over the months and months and months, sediment falls out to the bottom, and so it's called racking, and you rack it off, and then you put it into new clean barrels or containers, and steel or glass or cement, depending on what you're doing. And then as it ages, it starts getting beautifully delicious and round, and it starts becoming tawny. And so in the beginning, it's very ruby and fresh and bright purple, but as it ages, it becomes tawny. And it maintains, remember, wherever you stopped and halted and retarded that sugar fermentation process by the yeast is the level of sweetness you're going to have. So I know that is a lot of blah, 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 and it's simplified in my mind, but I know it could still be complicated. Just listen to it for what it was. So a tawny port, and a ruby port. A ruby port is younger, and it's bright, and it's not that you can't drink it, but it's not as mature, it's not as soft, and maybe even smoky, a little bit of smokiness or some softness. The longer you wait and leave it in barrel, the better it becomes. So a tawny might start at, it might start going tawny between 5 and 10 years. Look for a 20 or a 30 year. Oh yeah, those just are so. When I was visiting my cousin in Portugal, we had a 40-year port that she brought out. She's a sister in Fatima, and she brought out this 40-year port. It was mind-blowing, and you just have a little bit. You don't drink irresponsibly. We just had a little bit, and it was just fabulous. The age just made it amazing. Anyway, now you pair these things. So certain ports and certain dessert wines go well with chocolate. Some go well with a creamy cheesecake or a flan or something like that. And so that's what this article is about. Pairing a sweet dessert wine with a sweet bite that you're taking. You know, as I go back through and listen to this, I might edit all that out if it's too rambly. And if I don't, and it's still too rambly, I apologize. Just fast forward or tune out. Anyway, okay, chocolatey desserts. Chocolate's bold flavors need a wine that can stand up to the intensity without getting lost. So dark chocolate pairs beautifully with a vintage or ruby port, and possibly even a sherry. Milk chocolate opt for something that adds a caramelized warmth, like a tawny port. So anyway, a white chocolate would pair well with a sweet muscat, and so I love this. And then fruity desserts, you look at sauternes or a Moscato d'Asti, something, maybe even a sweet, sparkly champagne type drink, or an off-dry Riesling or Gewürztraminer. Now, here's another thing about wine. A Gewürztraminer. The Gewürztraminer grapes come from either France or Germany, and depending on, I think the umlaut, that's where it tells you it came from. I have made a Gewürztraminer. Most people think that a Gewürz is a sweet dessert wine. You can turn that into a completely big, bold, beautiful, dry red wine. Just you complete the fermentation. You don't stop it and keep it sweet. So I've made a Gewürz that is completely dry, not sweet. So just remember, any grape can be made into a regular wine. Most wine grapes. I have to preface it with that. You don't make wine out of Thompson's table grapes. It has to be a wine grape. And but the style of the winemaker, the preference of that winery, what they're looking for, will determine how you ferment that, whether you stop it and stop the fermentation and keep some of the sugars in the wine, or if you ferment all the sugars out and let the yeast complete their job and eat up all the sugar and turn that into alcohol. So there's 3 years of book learning right there. Oh, and then, a caramelly or buttery dessert. Rich buttery should go with something like a nutty sherry or an ice wine. Now, ice wines aren't very popular in the southern states because an ice wine is made from grapes that have stayed on the vine, that didn't get picked, and they kind of freeze. The sugars go way up because they've been on the vines a long, long, long time. And it's a whole different process. Personally, I have not made ice wine, but I know they do in the Finger Lakes region of New York and up in Canada. Maybe in the Walla Walla, in some of the northern Pacific Northwest wine regions. So anyway, there you go. Back to the food. Really. Okay, here's an article about different jerkies. dry jerky meats. Oh, but they're plant-based. Not all of them are. Just a couple of these are plant-based. Now, I think this is the coolest thing since sliced bread. It is a cheese grotto. And so you put this brick into the bottom. I think you put a moist, it comes with a brick, and you soak the brick and then you put it in there. You think that wrapping cheese up in plastic and all tight and putting it back in the fridge is the way to store it. And it's not. You do need a little bit of air circulation. And so the best way, I mean, this is cool. I may look into this. And it's the cheesegrotto.com. And there are a couple of four different sizes. I'll tell you something. I don't solicit sponsors, but this is something that I could tell them, send this to me and let me do a video on it, because I could totally wrap my life around this thing. But typically with a cheese, you want, if you're going to put it back in your fridge, wrap it in wax paper, not tight cellophane and foil and things like that. You want a little bit of air around it. So, yeah. Oh, I want this. This one pictured is $350. But if you think about, if you serve good cheese, like, I'm not talking some cheap cheddar, I'm talking some really good bries, some really good blues, roqueforts, gorgonzolas. You're spending a lot of money. And when they go bad, because you stored them, wrapped them improperly, and put them back in the fridge, kind of forgot about them, you're throwing money out. You're just wasting money. And I would bet you over the course of my adult life, I've thrown out $300 worth of cheese. Okay? So, I would, hello, Cheese Grotto Company, I'm right here. You want somebody to show people this? I would. Is that totally pimping myself out or what? But, okay. The Canadian wine region near Niagara Falls delivers world-class pours. Oh, that's so cool. I know I became really good friends with a gal who's now a winemaker up in this region. And she and her husband own a winery and a vineyard. And she and I went to school together at UC Davis. And so anyway, she is in this region, and I'll bet she makes fantastic wines. I have not tasted her wines. Technically, actually, she's in Canada, so she, the whole shipping of things was always a little difficult. So anyway, if you are in this region, I'd love to hear from you about if you are a wine drinker, and if you're not, that's fine. But let me know what you think of this region's wines and wineries if you've been there. Okay, different amazing sandwiches and where they are. So, the sandwich shop, the Troubadour in Healdsburg, California. Okay, the Knuckle. Oh, it's the Troubadour's. Okay, so I have not been there. The Knuckle Sandwich in Austin, Texas. Let's see, Ramona's Sandwiches in Portland, Maine. Marty's Deli in Minneapolis. Francolini's in New Orleans. You know what they don't have on here that I fell in love with was Primanti Brothers in Pittsburgh. Those sandwiches were amazing. And Primanti Brothers, they got their fame from being open really, really late for the shift workers who who were either starting the night shift or coming off the late shift. And they would put everything into this sandwich. The fries, you name it, the kitchen sink. And it was all in, and it was fantastic. Let me know if you're in the Pittsburgh area and you know Permane Brothers. Okay. Enterprise. Okay. Let's see. Oh, this is called Cambodian Saum Omelette. It's made with saum stems. I don't know what that is. Eggs, fish sauce, sugar, salt. I don't know what that is. Okay. Oh my goodness, that looks delicious. So you're rendering the pancetta in brown butter, and then you crisp the gnocchi. Oh my gosh. Stick a fork in me. I am done. Here it is, the ricotta gnocchi, made with ricotta cheese, Parmigiano Reggiano. Oh my goodness. So I'm looking forward to making this. Y'all gonna join me. Okay, let's see. A creamy Tuscan chickpea soup. That's what's on the cover. What do you think about that? Oh, I'm in. Pomegranate chicken thighs. That looks good. Looks like it's a lot of black pepper. No, it's just how they cook it. Okay. And this is the creamy udon with umami butter. You know what? This got tweaked a little, didn't it? No. There we go. My batteries got hot and the camera died, so I had to redo the settings. So much fun. Okay, mushroom and lentil ragu. All right, this is all, this looks vegetarian. So for you who are vegetarian, I'll make that, okay? Cumin lamb noodles. Oh, that looks delicious. Now, I say cumin. My husband says cumin, and I've heard it both ways. Which way do you say it? And is there a right or wrong? Cuban style black beans. I love beans. Chicken korma. I love chicken korma. Oh, we have a Pakistani restaurant down not far from where we live, maybe 4 or 5 miles. It's called Aladdin Kebab. We love the owners, and that food is like just amazing. Dolce Delights, a chocolate oatmeal carmelita. That would be one of our desserts, okay? Travel and oh, do you see it? The Travel Trust is a community of passionate travelers, thought leaders, and influencers. Wow, share your thoughts, connect with like-minded readers, and discover new products, offers, and discounts. I'm going to have to check them out. Oh, who knew? Okay, the Food and Wine Guide to Italian Wine. Tignanello. As a winemaker, clearly I love a good wine. But I'm going to preface that with saying I do not drink a lot. So when we do drink, it's in small amounts, but it's good wine. What is good wine? What makes a good wine? Besides some of these that they let you know, is a wine that you like. People sometimes will say, oh, you're a winemaker, so I shouldn't tell you I only like this $12 wine. If that's what you like, then it's good. I don't care if it's $2 or $2,000. And I've tasted both. So it's what you like. And if it's Kool-Aid that floats your boat, then good, you know? I don't judge someone for what they like or don't like. So 8 Italian wine benchmarks. Okay. And you know, they're reasonably priced from $27, $60, $120, $130, $180, $315. You know, a lot of factors go into the pricing of wine. Like I said, I've had a $2,000, almost $2,000 bottle of wine. I did not buy that. It was a gift, a very special gift. And it was so special. We flew to Los Angeles to go join a couple of friends and go and take it out to dinner. And we went to Terranea in my friends live in Palos Verdes, for those who are in the LA area. So we went to Terranea, and I joked that I was going to carry that bottle of wine in like this and show everybody my amazing bottle of wine. And when we gave it to the waiter at the Somme that came over, he even looked at it like, wow, you scored. We did not buy it. I wouldn't spend $2,000 on a bottle of wine. I shouldn't say that. Maybe someday I would if I had that much money expendable for wine and it was special. I don't know. And maybe if it went to a charity. There you go. In other words, I'm not going to do it. It's not going to happen. Okay, different wines. Terroir to table excellence. Terroir is a funny thing, and it's basically the growing environment for a grapevine. And terroir includes a lot of different things: the minerality of the dirt, the soil, the climate, the microclimate. Like Napa Valley has so many microclimates. That's what makes it so special. When you're up on Atlas Peak, that's not the same as the valley, say, of the Trefethen Vineyards. You know, the fog that comes in the evening and rolls out in late morning, that all adds to the terroir. And there are a lot, even the microorganisms of the soil add subtly to that vine and how it produces a grape, how it's fertilized or maintained, how it's trimmed, pruned, so many things. It's not. It's a big deal. Okay, Sicilian wines, Barolos, without the big bucks. Refreshing, cool climate whites. And remember, whites typically are much lower in ABV, alcohol by volume, than a red because they're picked sooner. You pick them when the acids are higher and the sugars are lower, so you get that nice crispness of the white. They will start to raisin if they're left as long as reds. And so anyway, typically for a white, they pick, well, it depends on the winemaker and the style again, but way lower than a red. Okay, travel. Sipping South Africa. Interesting. That is a really booming, over the past couple of decades, area in terms of food and wine and hospitality, and I would like to go there, maybe. Oh, that looks good. No recipe, just different places we could stay. Do you want to go? I'll have the 787 pick you up. Cities packed with flavors. New York, Florence. I loved Florence. We went to Florence a couple years ago. Oh, it was so good. Florence, Italy. Okay, cherries. Where's this? Oh, Michigan. Yeah, Michigan. Where to go, where to stay. Let's go. Cider season. I love a good apple cider. Now, a cider technically means it's ferment. You can make wine. You can make alcohol out of any fruit. If it's got sugar, you can ferment it and get alcohol off of it. Plum wine, rice wine, a peach wine, all, you name it, right? So cider, apple cider, is more of a hard alcohol, not as hard as like a whiskey or a vodka, something like that. But I like a good fermented cider as well as a non-alcoholic cider. Where we used to live in California, one of the places, we weren't far from Apple Hill, and they had some amazing apple ciders up in Apple Hill. And if you haven't been there, if you're anywhere in the Sacramento region, the greater Sacramento, take the ride up the hill past Placerville and go to Apple Hill. You won't regret it. Is that going to die on me again? I tell you. We go to High Hill and, oh golly, there's so many. I can't remember the names, but there's a guide you can follow, the trail map. Okay, so apple cider risotto with bacon and butternut squash. Shall I make this for us all? Oh, and different recipes for ciders. Oh my, a sparkling rosé cider. These are cool. An Aperol spritz. Apple roll spritz. The first Aperol spritz I ever had was actually in the Cinque Terre of Italy. All right, let's have a salad. An apple Brussels sprouts and apple cider vinaigrette salad. Who wants that? Or an apple cider risotto with bacon and butternut squash. I'm having that. Okay, thyme and Dijon seared pork tenderloin with cider pan sauce. Oh, that looks so good. What is this? Apple cider snacking cake with maple cream cheese frosting. Oh, look at this, so good. We'll have a plate of these for our dessert, okay? Okay, Moon Harvest. What is that? Oh, it's talking about this one place and this winery at Los Milix Winery in Elgin, Arizona. Yes, and when you harvest, you start at night. And I have been out on the harvest. As a winemaker, I've done it all. Potential spam is calling me. And you get up super early to maximize the cool weather and getting those grapes out of the heat. You don't want them breaking down in the big bins and busting open and losing their juice or cooking and a lot of problems. So you get them into the winery as soon as you can. Get them cooled down. Oh, wow, look at that. Oh, wake up to the sunrise surrounded by vineyards in one of their luxe, special, spacious casitas. That sounds like an interesting area. If you've been there, let me know. Okay, here's a salad with, what's it called? It's called ensalada campera. It's a country-style potato salad. Chocolate olive oil cake. I love a good olive oil cake. It's so moist and delicious, and you don't taste the heaviness of that olive oil taste, but it's really good. I'm starting to foam at the mouth. Now, slow cooking is part of fall soup and stew making using the slow cooker. So, 6 rules of slow cooking. Defrost first, delay the dairy, blend to thicken, use your mixer or a emulsifier, finish with fresh, less liquid is more flavor, and start with umami. Okay, and then different recipes for a slow cooker idea. That gigantic beans with sausage. Dr. Pepper braised pot roast. I could do that. Oh my goodness, I'm making that. Who's coming over? Make sticky toffee overnight oats. I wouldn't use my slow cooker for that. I do overnight oats with chia and fruit and honey in my fridge. Zucchini bread in a slow cooker? Oh no, just zucchini. It's about zucchini bread. Oh, Frank family. I'm glad it ended with this. Great. The back is one of my favorite wines, Frank family. Very good wines. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little Friday flip with food. And I know it was a kind of fast-spoken blah, 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 but I wanted to get through it with as few battery deaths as possible. So let me know what you think. I hope it was relaxing. I hope you enjoyed it. Tell me what you want me to make, and everybody's going to come over. I'll just make everything in here. How about that? Put it out on a big, big table, and you can just help yourself. Well, I enjoyed this, and I'm starving now. So I am going to go eat, finish my tea, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.